Hi guys, and welcome back to another Kaiju Explained episode. This time, I'm going to be taking a look at SpaceGodzilla. We kind of got the alternate Godzillas early on in the Showa era with the various Mechagodzillas, but we didn't truly get an evil Godzilla until SpaceGodzilla. The space monsters are among the favorites of mine, beginning with Gigan and King Ghidorah, but another awesome kaiju threat from space is the ever-popular SpaceGodzilla. He comes in weighing at 80,000 tons and stands at over 120 meters tall. SpaceGodzilla is best classified as a space monster, partial clone of Godzilla, possibly with some Biollante cells thrown in as well. When he's in his flying crystalline form, he is massive and weighs in at 720,000 tons, making him the heaviest kaiju to date. In his one Heisei appearance, he fought both Godzilla and the humans with Moguera, as well as Little Godzilla. SpaceGodzilla is one of the most powerful kaiju in the Toho Godzilla series, and it makes sense with him being a partial clone of Godzilla. His most famous ability being the one to create crystal formations around him. He can then draw power from the formations into the crystals on his shoulders. His dorsal fins have also been replaced with these crystals. He can create an aura or field around him that he can use to cause electrical disturbances, and he can also shield himself from Godzilla's blasts as well. His Corona beam can do tons of damage and is similar to the beam in look and power of King Ghidorah. Although he can use his telekinesis to move and direct his beam at will. He can also use his telekinesis to move and lift himself, objects, and other kaiju. The monster is capable of energy conduction and has high-level regenerative powers similar to that of Godzilla, so he can heal up quickly right in the middle of a battle. He has a large tail with huge crystals on the end of it, and can use this prehensile tail to grab and throw objects or foes at will. The antenna-like object on his head gives him radar capabilities to track down his enemies. Due to the large shoulder size and small arm size, SpaceGodzilla is slightly lacking in melee abilities, but he makes up for that with his ranged attacks and his beam with telekinesis. The lack of melee is also partly due to the special effects director, Koichi Kawakita. He thought that wrestling made the kaiju look too human, so he preferred ranged attacks and worked on Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla. So that would explain why those movies rely more on ranged attacks and less on the physical melee abilities. SpaceGodzilla was one of the more intelligent kaiju to face off with Godzilla as well. He attacked Earth without being under alien control like many other space kaiju, and also captured Little Godzilla as a way to torment and antagonize Godzilla. Although Space G is still very powerful, there are a few weaknesses to him. I mentioned that his melee skills are somewhat lacking. We can also note that Moguera was able to draw blood from him fairly easily. However, he did heal up in just a matter of moments. The main weakness that I would point out, it's also a strength, is his crystals, because when you take them out, this will significantly lower his strength and power. His strengths and powers are so good that these weaknesses are overshadowed. Don't forget how easily he defeated Godzilla in their first match, and even in the second match, Moguera was pivotal in Godzilla's win. The suit actor who played SpaceGodzilla was Ryo Haratani, and he was the suit actor for the final form of Destroya as well. In his only movie appearance in Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla, his origin is talked about, but they are unclear on the exact method of creation of this kaiju. The part that they do know is that Godzilla cells had been pulled into a black hole and fused with crystallized organisms. The kaiju was then exposed to large amounts of energy from exploding stars and then exited a white hole in the form of the current SpaceGodzilla. As for how the G-cells got there in the first place, they actually have two different likely possibilities. The cells could have come from Biollante. This could account for the similar mouths of both Biollante and SpaceGodzilla, or they speculate that the Godzilla cells could have been on Mothra when she flew into space after doing battle with Godzilla. SpaceGodzilla also went by the name of Crystal Godzilla and Astro-Godzilla before the SpaceGodzilla name was eventually used. Space G is said to be a modified version of Super Godzilla from the Super Godzilla Nintendo game. Minoru Yoshida was the designer responsible for concept art for both Super Godzilla for the game and SpaceGodzilla. Early scripts had SpaceGodzilla facing off with Godzilla and a new Mechagodzilla, but the Mecha G was swapped out with Mogera later on. We can see here in the concept art drawings of SpaceGodzilla just how different he could have looked. In the concept images by Shinji Nishikawa, SpaceGodzilla is missing his huge shoulder crystals and instead had huge fins that it would use as wings. It was meant to look like a Western dragon and to be very muscular but not as bulky as the final design was. In conclusion, SpaceGodzilla is one of the most powerful kaiju ever to face off against Godzilla. He was another one of Godzilla's foes that he could not defeat on his own and ended up needing the help of humans by the way of Mogera. What do you guys think of SpaceGodzilla? Is he one of your favorites? Or are you glad he was only in one Godzilla film so far? Do you think we'll see a return of SpaceGodzilla to the big screen? Or possibly even in the upcoming Godzilla anime films? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you liked the episode, if you could give me a thumbs up, it helps out so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why not subscribe for all the Godzilla goodness to come? Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you next time.